So there's this sports personality named name of Nick Wright. He stated that Kobe Bryant was never the best player, and I just decided to become a content creator because I had enough with these pundits on the sports media. They're saying a lot of revisionist history, and they don't really. I believe they don't really watch the games. They just look at the box scores. So my whole claim in this video is gonna be to mention why Kobe was the best player from the mid 2000s to the late 2000s. So from the 04, 05 season to the 09, 010 season. Yeah, so this is what he claimed. He said, I think he was never the best player. And then he said LeBron, after the 48 point game, was the when he had the game 5 against Detroit. But a lot of people don't mention that LeBron had a bad closeout game, and Daniel Gibson led the team in scoring in the game 6 to beat the Pistons when Daniel Gibson had 31 points on 7 and 9 shooting. LeBron, after that game 6, he had bad games. In the NBA Finals, he shot below 40% because he was young and he was still developing. And Tim Duncan didn't have a good series. He shot under 40% for the series. So the Cavs defense, they had a top 5 defensive rating. So that's what led them to the run, and they had guys like Salsa Pavlovic who shot 40% from 3 off the bench. So my opinion, I believe LeBron was actually the best player in the 012, 011, 012 season. But that's be video for another time. So this is Kobe's play style. I think he played both sides of the floor. He made all defensive teams during this era, and he won scoring titles. So he had 3 level scorer. When he, when he lost his athleticism, he became more of a post player in the mid range. So that's why a lot of people, they sort of hate on him and say like, oh, he didn't shoot, he shot below 50%, but he took contested mid range shots. And yeah, I believe I mentioned this. Tim Duncan didn't play well. That's why Tony Parker got the Finals MVP. They both didn't play well. I mentioned this before. And here's a video of LeBron actually admitting that Kobe was the best player. So this is a ESPN 60 Minutes from 2009. Yeah, and I'm gonna mention Kobe's playoff runs, and I'll mention the game where other pundits like Shannon Sharp like to mention how the Phoenix Suns series, the controversial Game 7 where he gave up allegedly, but I'll give my claim. So we'll talk about the losing years. The losing seasons were before the Pau Gasol trade. So this was the game he quit in the 2006 first round, where that's what they state, but the team wasn't playing well and the team didn't shoot well, I believe. I think I have my notes on me, but they didn't. I think they went 24-75 without Kobe. So Kobe, he went 8 for 16, but he also got outplayed, so I hold that accountable. So he should be criticized, but it's not like he had a winning team around him, and he had the 50 point game, excuse me, in the game 6 when they lost. They went to overtime and they lost in overtime. And in the 2007, they just got overpowered because that's the Phoenix Suns team's offense was good with, led by I think Steve Nash, Amari Stoudemire. Raja Bell was I think a dirty player. Like I remember him. He put his arms around his shoulder, Kobe's shoulder. I think that they called that a flagrant foul in one of those playoff games. So another thing to mention is that like he played in the dead ball era, so the scoring and the pace was lower in the 2000s. Or teams were averaging like 90 point, 90 97, 95 points. It's not like today where it's like the spacing, there's more possessions, more 3-point shooting, so it's higher scoring. But so when they got Pau Gasol, I think they gave up Kwame Brown, and they got Pau Gasol, a Hall of Fame caliber player, and Andrew Bynum developed as a player. He became a double double. He could give like 15 and 12. And Phil Jackson came back where they ran the his triangle offense where everyone it wasn't like a drive and kick like today they drive and kick to the 3-point shooter, but every player had like a different role. And then Kobe's teams they beat 10 51 teams in that playoff span from 2008 to 2000. I'm gonna list them off. So in the 2008 playoff run, they beat the Nuggets with Melo and AI. They won 50 games. Then they beat Darren Williams, Carlos Boozer, AK-47, Andrei Kirilenko, AK-47, which was 54 wins. That was a 54 win team. They beat the Spurs in the conference finals, which is a 56 win team. And then in the 2008 finals, they ultimately lost to the Celtics. But I don't want to make excuses, but we tend to, but the team wasn't really healthy and they weren't physically ready. They weren't physically tough because Andrew Bynum was injured and Trevor Ariza I believe was hurt too. So, but I'm not gonna. That may be. I don't want to give an excuse because they blew 20-point lead in one of those games. And then game 6 they got demolished. Where Kobe, I think that James Posey and Tony Allen played good defense on him, but they weren't they weren't tough mentally tough team as a team. So they had to improve the roster, get ready for 2009. So these are notable performances, but Kobe's notable performances. I believe this is the Phoenix Sun series in 2010. So you could look at his numbers because that's all these pundits look at. But he was putting up good numbers. But let me talk about the 2009 playoff run. So he in the 2009 playoff run, he beat the Jazz with again Darren Williams and Carlos Boozer. Then in the Rockets, a 53 win team with Yao Ming and Ron Artest, Shane Battier. Then the Western Conference Finals, he beat a Nuggets team with Melo, Chauncey Billups, a 54 win team, and then he beat a 59 win team, which is the Orlando Magic, which had Dwight Howard, Jameer Nelson, Rashad Lewis. I'll be making a video on the 2000 or late 2000s Magic because that team. I think Dwight Howard was he was a superstar and like I think he gets disrespected today. But in the 2010 for the 2010 playoff run, he beat a 50-win Thunder team with KD, Westbrook. Harden was a sixth man, but KD, Westbrook they were on the rise, so they were like rising stars. The second round, he beat a 53 win again a Utah Jazz team. Darren Williams and Carlos Boozer. Darren Williams later on, I think he got traded to the Utah. No, sorry, to the New Jersey Nets. But in the conference finals, he beat Amari Stoudemire, so he got that revenge from the Suns. And they were a 54 win team, yeah, I believe. And the Celtics team in the 010, that was their vengeance from the 08 finals. And they were a 50-win team too. And they won. It was that game 7 that they won. But he had notable playoff performances, so I'll say why I think he was better than LeBron during this time because he had good playoff performances. Like LeBron, he didn't play well in certain of those playoffs. He got outplayed by Dwight Howard in the 09 Eastern Conference Finals in Game 6, where Dwight Howard had like 40 points, 40-something points and like 10 plus rebounds. I remember watching that game as a kid. But notable like playoff games during the span, I think is for Kobe was the 2009 Western Conference Finals, that Game 3, where he scored like 41 points. He had like a clutch 3-pointer on J.R. Smith's face. I remember contested off the dribble, and then in the 2010 Western Conference Finals, he scored 37 points when he hit an off dribble 3. I remember on Grant Hill, and he patted the Suns coach in the back. And then in the 2009 Finals, he scored 30 points. He had a good finals. He was making like difficult shots. I remember like on Petrus and Courtney Lee. They didn't play JJ Redick though because he was bad on defense. But then there's another one in like 2009 Western Conference first round where he had like 38 points on 16 for 24. So he shot efficient. and he beat the Jazz in all 3 of those years. I think he took it. I think he took it personal because he shot those air balls against the Jazz when he was young. So when he versed them in the playoffs later on in his career, when he matured, and became a leader, he played well. And I think that's about it. So I labeled his